T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Shake it back! Does that feel good? Yeah.
You like that? Welcome everybody to episode 54 of the Shake and Bake Show with Stevie Fast, Jack, Lyle Barnett, and Tex-Mex Canadian Enders.
I had a few people say they like when you say Texar Canada.
Texar Canada. Live from Texar Canada with the Smoky Lake in the background.
Hasn't washed her hair in 14 days.
I heard you're on a non-hair washing bender. You want to tell the Shake and Bake fans a little something about what's happening?
So apparently whatever is said before the show is not just between friends.
Not confidential anymore.
I have not washed my hair since Thursday, so this is what we're doing.
Woohoo!
You know? Smells good.
I bet it does. I got a comment on my
doing it. The girls, y'all may talk shit and men in the audience, but any girl in here, like this is not unheard of.
I got a comment on one of my posts the other day that I should shave my beard because it holds germs. Oh, it was on when I got the flu post.
Did you
apparently my beard just breeds the flu, right? No, yeah, I commented back and said, no, sir, I will not be doing that because the weight of manhood is not too much for me to bear.
Too much to bear.
Period.
And wouldn't you rather have the flu than be
100% twice?
What?
By golly.
Spencer agrees, though. He says that you're very germy and fluey.
Well, I have missed the hell out of you guys. I have missed the hell out of all you Shake and Bakers. It's been 3 weeks since our last episode. It has been a tumultuous, fire-breathing dragon of a month.
We have a lot.
Courtney was definitely on a 16-day bender last week. Lyle had, if you saw on our social media, he had influenza type A, B, C, D, and E all at once.
But he did not have COVID. He is Republican.
Super Nash had the flu.
And then, believe it or not, my wife ended up.
They all had the full-blown gizmo.
We did. And then 2 nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night to my 100-pound chocolate lab standing over top of me, breathing heavily, which normally means he needs to go outside. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, a little early, but maybe homeboy's got to do his thing. He had a little accident in the living room.
Was it not so solid?
It wasn't at all, and it was out of both ends.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was good. Perfect. Monday night, 5:30 in the morning. I'm on my hands and knees. At least it was on the hardwoods.
On a couch eating Cheetos.
I was not doing that. The last thing I wanted to do was eat at that moment. But anyway, been pretty eventful past 9 days for me.
What's in your cup there, big boy? Water.
It is a lot of it.
I'll be on the Yingling flight this weekend, this hour.
Water.
I wish I could see my view.
What? Oh, you got a live studio audience?
My mother's here. She's as close as she could be without her nose coming on screen.
Sort of like poke her head over the screen and say, hey.
Poke it in.
Hello, Janet.
Hello, Janet.
I got her on one side. I got Spencer on the other and my dog on the other side.
Well, so where do y'all want to start? We have so much racing to talk about. We have an awesome guest coming on tonight. I guess let's start with highs and lows. But some of my highs and lows are going to lead to stuff later. But we have 3 major bombshell races to talk about. We got IHRA news to talk about. We got NHRA news. We got rule changes in nearly every sanctioning body. We got new drivers. We got rainouts. We got crashes in Top Fuel. We have a shitload of stuff to talk about.
Well, I think we do highs and lows and we go on to lights out. Since it was first, we're going in chronological order. How about that?
Oh, that sounds organized. All right.
I like to dance when those comes on, but I'm always worried I'm going to be dancing whenever the camera comes back on. I'm going to get caught.
Yeah, so like there's been a couple of times you longtime shake and bakers have caught us when we think y'all aren't watching. And a couple times we got caught at the end of the show and almost got in trouble. So like what y'all don't realize is there's a delay from when I click something in the studio to when it actually happens. So when it works exactly like it's supposed to, I just got lucky. Most of the time I miss it by a couple of seconds. So we're always dancing and acting like a fool. So
hey, Courtney, be sure you touch on the, I don't know their first name, the Mackey comment. Could you talk about the flow views for the Winter Series numbers and which race did better and whatnot? Make sure you remember that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I got those for when Steve comes on.
Okay.
We set records yet again.
All
all
right.
right, what you got for your high there, Courtney Lou?
I don't remember, but I think that I sent it to her like days ago because I do what I'm supposed to. One of my highs since I've talked to y'all was for sure Spencer getting his Top Fuel license. We went to Gainesville and did all that, and we had a
funny car. He already had a top.
Oh shit, my bad. Whoops.
Well, I gotta find that. I have a graphic.
Both Torrance's sign. Yep, JT and Lyle came out. It was cool. Lyle got to see him stomp on that loud pedal like a half a time. Made a couple. Yep, there we go. And if you zoom into that other picture, which we can't, Spencer is most definitely giving Lyle the bird.
He is. And at first I thought he was waving. Somebody said, "Is he giving you the bird?" And I did the old zoom in. I'm like, "Yeah, that motherfucker."
Like in the most stressful moment of his life, he's like, "Fuck you, Lyle."
Yep.
Hey, it takes the edge off.
It does. So that's kind of was my high and low at the same time because your girl doesn't really love funny car and that's dangerous. And so I think that was both my high and
Okay.
I need a gas. I said to somebody the other day, I need a gas mask and like an EKG machine or something because it's ridiculous.
Is it very stressful for you?
Yes.
Like, are you very worried about it most of the time?
Yes. Well, to be fair, I've only had 2 opportunities yet. And I had Johnny Lindbergh told me that I looked like a pile of nerves. And then my mom told me I looked nervous on TV. And, but then we'll get into it later. And then he hit a cone and disappeared into the end of the racetrack. And I didn't know if he hit a wall or a cone or what. So yeah, it's
Spencer.
funny cars are no joke, man. Even the burnout stresses me out. Like I'm scared for myself too.
I think I have a graphic of that. You want to put Spencer versus Cone up? Or you want to wait later to do that?
We got to get through lights out before Steve comes on.
Okay. All right. I just did. I was like,
I mean, you
teed up.
we got the video, all that. We can play that.
all right, Lyle, what do you got for your highs and lows?
Best all-time high.
All right, what is it?
You
I gotta play it. Is it a video?
It is. So, Melissa announced last night, but we are expecting baby numero dos in September, and it is a girl.
Congratulations, your life is about to change in ways you can't imagine.
I hope she's just like Aunt Courtney.
Oh man.
Everybody else in this world hopes she is the polar opposite.
I hope she is just like me, and I'm me. I just can't wait.
You ain't gonna ruin that youngin.
I'm fine.
She already gets everything she wants. She ain't even here yet.
Yeah, is the parental advisory up? Yeah, you're fucked, buddy.
That's fine.
And she's got an older brother to just
Oh man.
had everything. You're so screwed. Y'all have the perfect little family. Mel Bell, we're dealing with y'all. She's finally got somebody in her corner.
This is it, though.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They get us higher than that.
I don't know how many men in their lifetime have looked forward to a vasectomy, but I'm up.
Go ahead. Go ahead and call.
Two thumbs, no eyebrows, and looking forward to vasectomy. That guy.
This guy.
Go ahead and call and get that.
I'm ready. Snip me, Doc. Stevie, you got a high?
You gotta have a low first.
Oh, did you say a low?
Yeah, I haven't said anything yet.
I didn't know Courtney did her low. Oh yeah, you
Well,
did.
my high and low is the same thing.
All right. Yeah, I've got a low.
Yeah, that'll happen.
That's it's pretty low right there.
That'll happen.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know where that came from.
That's not like you.
Nah, that's real red. And like we looked at the data and looked at a bunch of video, and like I was pretty shallow. And normally if you just ease that thing in there, you really got to get after it to turn it red. And I felt like I saw enough yellow to be good. Like when I let go, I mean, I legged that thing to the finish line thinking, whew, I got him. I did all right.
That's really bad when you don't realize you went red and you get down there. And normally about 600 feet, you see his light on. And you're like, why is this light on?
Yep.
You're like,
oh, I didn't even see that.
I'm winning.
I wasn't even looking over there. I just kept looking out my window waiting for his nose to come. And I'm like, damn, I must have tattooed his ass, pulled the chute, got the shutdown. And one of my crew guys came on the yeah, good job, buddy. And I was like, fuck yeah. You know, I turn off the racetrack. I'm all pumped up. And I think it was the Roberts dude, the photographer. He was like, man, you were 27 red. And I'm like, nah, man, it must have been the next pair or something. He was like,
nope.
Nah, you were. I was. Turned to red first round World Series Pro Mod, had a really good car. Be like that sometimes, you know?
Well, to be fair, you getting in that session before was pretty exciting. Old Pop's got some air.
Very exciting.
So
we had ran really good early in the week, had went to complete and utter shit when qualifying came, and hit a home run in Q5.
It was awesome.
When we made that run, I think we were qualified 4th. By the time the session was over, I think I was freaking 17 or something. Like, it was unbelievable how many people went fast. It was good though.
It's like that every time.
It's one of those deals. If you don't nail that one run, you are in trouble.
There were some huge shakeups in the list that round. Some people that were probably felt pretty confident that they were going to qualify and did not.
And everybody that we kind of featured in flow of like who are the big dogs in, y'all all slid in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. We didn't. I mean, there are people that maybe should have but didn't, but the ones that we highlighted, everybody got in.
Agreed.
It was pretty wild.
Well, I'll keep my highs and lows since we're talking about lights out, or we're supposed to be. I'll keep my highs and lows lights out related. Then we'll get to my actual high and low a little bit later in the show.
Okay.
So if any of you guys watched Lights Out, it was really a home run derby. We had perfect conditions. The track was on the hill. Records were getting shattered left and right. I would say my low was probably losing my radial tire world record and then blowing the engine up trying to get it back. So we rolled up there. Ken and Paulo had just been duking it out for the 40s, you know. And we rolled up there and really swung at it. And this was a deal where everybody thinks I burned it up trying to do it. This is the stupidest thing a driver can do is break the oil pump in the burnout, go all the way out there past the burnout, back up with no oil pressure, sit there, rev it up with no oil pressure. And a KTR engine will still make it about 3 seconds with no oil pressure before it blows the rods out. So this was not good. And then we'll call that my high. So we told this story on the internet, but we were done. We were not racing. We blew the front end off the car. It could not be fixed. We had it tore the transmission up. It knocked the blower off. It broke the manifold. It was a bad boomer, like a bad boomer. I went to Doug Cook and said, hey, I really want to be done. Really, I'm not into this. This sucks. I hate racing. I want to quit. I'm ready to retire. He said, okay. I was like, this freaking sucks. This kid come up that had waited all week to come and watch me race. His mama made him go to school on Friday. They had been saving up for a month to come. They got to the track about 10 o'clock. My car was covered up, and I was down at Jody's eating some chicken and rice. I come back up. They said, you need to really talk to this kid. This kid's crying. I come down here to see you race. Why are you not going to race? Can't you fix it? I call the guys and tell them to get all the parts out. Bumblebee and StumbleNat Composite Shop, come over there, fix my front end up, and my high would be fixing that thing, and then going out there that E1 run against Justin Moran and going at 55 to win E1. It was a really big shot in the arm for our team. We weren't going to World Series of Pro Mod either. Like, we were done racing for the week, for the event, for the month.
Shit, aren't you glad you went?
Well, we'll see. We'll get to that a little later.
Kind of.
So, kind of. We'll pile my highs and lows into that. Other than that, Lights Out was a killer race. We got beat by Ken in the second round, did a wheelie, went 55 to his 53 or something like that. I had him dead on the tree, which is hard to do with Ken. It was awesome watching Jackson Henderson make a good run. I would say that was definitely a high. We put a lot of effort in the little Buick in the off season, as we call it, and seeing him go his personal best 441 156 with a nitrous car was badass.
Yeah, it was. That thing ran really good. And watching you guys fix that freaking car was impressive. I stood around down there for a minute. I was like, yeah, this ain't the place for me to be. Time for me to go.
No help at all.
Yeah, it was not good.
No, I was no help. I stood there just like this.
You have something in your hand, though?
No, I did. I cheered Phil on.
Phil, this is the first time where Phil was not gung-ho to fix the car. Phil said, "You're crazy if you don't quit now." He's like, "You have one engine left. He said the front end's in 5 pieces. Cannot be fixed. You broke."
Oh, you got to tell the best part of the front end.
Oh, yeah, the best part of the front end. So I was so mad after we blew the front end to 5 pieces. It ripped the cowl off, and I was throwing it in the trash, and a kid come up and wanted it. So I signed it, dated it, SGMP, this date, Shadow, Lights Out 84, or whatever it is, and give it to the kid. When we decided to fix the car, we had to have that back. I had to find his mom on Instagram and ask his mom if I could borrow the front end piece to put back in there, and promise her that when I got done with World Series of Pro Mod, I'd cut it back out and give it to him. So about an hour later, this kid comes walking up, poochie mouth, and handed it to me. And we and Jeff and Patrick carboned it back in the front end. I got to saw it out of the front end and ship it to him.
You better send that back.
Well, I am.
That's freaking awesome, though.
But I was like, hey, that cowl induction piece of that 68 Camaro, I need to get that. Back. So, but during World Series of Pro Mod, when we're hauling ass, she did post on Instagram that they own 10% of the car. So
that's fair. You hear my live studio audience laughing?
And that's
right.
That's the kind of shit you don't hear about in the real deal.
Yeah, but Stevie Fast Jackson, he's such a prick, huh? Right?
Yeah, I'm such a bad guy.
You were the worst, literally.
Anyways, so we got Lights Out. Who won Lights Out? Ken Q.
Ken Q. He wins everything these days, except
who won Pro 275?
Brad Edwards.
Brad Edwards, and I think his first win at this level, dominant fashion, 220 mile an hour, smoking down through there. LDR was. I quit after Chad got smoked.
We've had 3 races since then. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest of it.
I want to say.
No offense to those who won that, but there's been a lot.
Blevins. No.
Did Blevins win it? No, Blevins didn't win it.
Runner up, I think.
Yeah, I do know that just because Paige. But somebody in the comments could please let us know. That'd be great. Thanks.
Oh, we got someone in private chat. It's in our private chat.
Oh, Lyle, you spoke nicely about me to someone at Lights Out. You must have been drunk.
No, maybe I did.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Molly probably got it. Galongo?
Oh, Globo.
Close. Molly, God love you.
We did get a trigger of rule changes in the radial tire world this week.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
I benefited.
Huh?
And I benefited.
Everybody benefited except for 2 combinations. So let's just go ahead and get to the bottom of it. So Ultra Street got a slew of rule changes. Basically, my nitrous street car with the stock suspension got 25 pounds added on it. There's so many changes there, I can't even get to them all. And then LDR, I don't know if I can find that. If we have the LDR rule change.
They put it in WhatsApp?
So basically, everybody, unless you have a roots or a screw, pretty much got 20 to 50 pounds off. The problem is there's no other screws, and we have the only roots. So I don't know what's happening there, but it looks like they're trying to speed the class up a bunch. They forgot to give that roots blown Buick any weight off. But a slew of rule changes smoking around in LDR. No RVW changes that I've seen. And then Pro 275 had a little bit. I think there was some weight additions for some specific combinations and such. Well, again, any take on any of that?
So in LDR, that car that I drive has that, I call it the David Reese engine, but the small block Hemi, so 4,600 bore space, Hemi headed. I mean, it's a Hemi that's 1.2 inches shorter or something like that.
Right.
And we run an F3, a Pro Charger. We got a little bit of a weight break, which, I mean, I'm biased, but in my opinion, we needed. That thing to run bottom 390s pretty consistently, 393 to 395, but as far as going 380s, it ain't happening. And I don't think the 35 pound or 25, 35 pounds, whatever we got off, is going to get us there. But it'll any little bit helps. I don't think it'll be the last rule change for that. You'll see. I didn't even look at Pro 275 just because I assumed we probably didn't get touched. I mean, we've qualified number 1 3 or 4 races in a row, but I've lost second round everywhere except for the Snowbirds. So we're looking to turn that around in Rockingham, obviously. But for me, I was not upset about any of the rule changes. I could see how you guys might be, but I was okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Some things, when you got a guy that's been low ET of the season so far and number 1 qualifier at all the races, and they get 40 pounds and you don't, there's some shanky stuff going on, but it is what it is. We'll just keep chasing it, keep working hard at it. What I would really like to see is I would like to see someone with a normal engine and a normal roots blower that's not a Chuck Ford supercharger come run LDR, and let's see what it runs. Because what they're doing is they're making the class rules off of me, and if you make Chuck Ford and KTR 0, if that's your 0 point, it's going to make it tough for anybody else to run that combination. See what they do.
Agreed. I was just trying to look myself. I don't think they changed.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of Pro 275 stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anything changed there.
They got 50 pound, so non-Hemi Vortex got 75 off, and non-Hemi small engines 526 and smaller got 50 pounds off. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. So not a lot of changes in Pro 275.
There you have it, folks.
There you have it. See if there's anything in the comments.
We actually did that. I'm surprised.
That was pretty fast.
Yeah, 7:54. We're doing good.
Where's your flow sheet there?
Oh,
Where's my what?
Our flow sheet. I get it.
Oh, I was like, what? While we're on that, let me give you some numbers of Lights Out, because Lights Out broke a record and then it was quickly broken. 8.5 million live minutes viewed of Lights Out. It had become the second most watched drag race of all time, only to the 2025 U.S. Street Nationals.
2000. Oh, yeah.
This year, 10.2. I'll get into the winter series here in a bit, but that was pretty gnarly. The Lights Out, considering, we talked about this at Flow, considering since World Cup, after World Cup, what we have until now, until like World Series. We've got, World Cup, U.S. or Snowbirds, U.S. Street, Lights Out. We've got Pro, World Series, all that. We kind of were wondering if people were just going to buy the subscription and be done with it. We saw growth every time, and we saw live minutes viewed go up every time. And the Pro Mod / radial / outlaw market is, dare I use the No Time Friends phrase, alive and well.
I'm going to ask the question just because I saw it a couple times. You think there's correlation between seeing that these street outlaw guys have essentially nowhere to go now, I mean, I know that this Speed Promotions deal is trying to put something out there. They've invited very few, terminated contracts. That is a whole stinky deal over there that I haven't really investigated or researched much. But do you think that because these guys are starting to kind of, I mean, they've got race cars, right? They've got all this shit. The fact that they're racing with us now, is that, I mean, it's got to help, right? Like, is it the reason they're 8.5 million minutes watched? It's part of it, I think.
I think it's the reason that we had that many more new subscriptions each month. Because that's why I was worried about a saturated market. The minutes viewed, the viewership, it was going to be steady, but the actual new subscriptions for each of these events, I was worried we were going to be tapped out. But I think that we saw with what happened at Snowbirds, everybody watched it. Then the next one was like, got to see it. If you're a drag racer, period, you had to subscribe to watch it. And that's the spike that we saw there, but it didn't slow down in the others. So I'm going to get on that in a minute there, buddy, because we did. And we still are. But we'd have to be stupid to say that doesn't have something to do with it. I'm not saying that we didn't need them. They would have been successful without it. The parameters that we set, we still would have hit, but we blew past them. Like, Team Us, what up,
Team
buddy?
Us.
Hank, I think I saw you like yesterday and a different day.
But anyway, I think that it's a good thing. And I think that when we have a unified place for people to go race, even if it is during the off season and everybody goes off and does their own thing during the season, like that's pretty friggin' cool.
I agree.
So,
well, building, I mean, and the other thing is, especially these events stacked on top of each other like they are in the spring and the fall, it really builds a lot of momentum. Like if you like cars, there's nowhere you can go and not hear about these events right now. I mean, there's nowhere, you cannot hide from it.
And it's a bit of FOMO. Like if you're not watching it, like you're reading about it on the internet, and that's why we saw the spike. And even people like Erica and Antron, like Erica literally said, I have to race the Winter Series. Like I'm going to be a loser if I don't. I got to figure out something like this. It became kind of like a fraternity that you had to be a part of.
Blower Bob, I like that avatar there, buddy. We're going to get to some of the Cheeto Christmas tree ornaments.
Hi, Blower Bob. Let me go back to that no time thing issue there.
Okay. You want to start off there? There you go.
Sure. So here is the official statement.
Oh.
Which we posted on Flow Racing. As a part of our coverage this weekend at the Duck X Productions Lights Out 16, we inadvertently posted times during 2 runs in the no time category. This was included within an upgraded production and graphics package meant to showcase the drivers. We understand the magnitude of this mistake and its impact on the competitors and the sport. We apologize for the error and will be taking steps to ensure this does not happen again. We are also reaching out to the no time organizers in effect to help rectify this situation. So talk to a couple of the competitors. We have a meeting with Raul next week. Tried to get it in before World Series of Pro Mod, but couldn't. And we're going to figure out a way to, I mean, obviously you can't undo what was done. And Lyle was a big help in helping me educate Flo on the repercussions of what happens. And like one of the guys I spoke to because of Lyle, and he was very understanding and nice and open with me about it, what it did to his car and his career and his value and what his plans were for the year. And there's nothing you can do to undo that. So it just sucks. It just sucks. So, but that's just part of it with every little improvement that we try to make and have a physical person there punching in these AccuTime numbers or these CompuLink numbers, and it just got missed.
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it was just flat human error. You know what I mean? And like it's like I get it. I mean, I haven't grudge raced nearly as much as somebody like Stevie, but I am right in the middle of some of the biggest grudge region, and that can get, there's going to be some people firing there. No, it's the DMV. No, but there's no denying that there is shit tons of grudge racing in the Southeast, and it's all around me. If I've been to tons of events to watch and, you know, whatnot. But so I understand how serious it is and how, like, I mean, for lack of better terms, there are people who have been hurt, very seriously hurt over stuff like this. You know,
yeah, I mean? Like you can't race it anymore.
Spewing times. I mean, right. You know, for the viewers on here that are like, I don't understand why it was such a big deal. Well, in order to keep someone like Stevie from bringing the shadow to some of these no time events, they have a rule in place there where your car cannot have shown a time for 365 days. Some is a calendar year, which starts January the 1st. This guy, one of them in particular, had bought a car, spent real money to run a class, and I have no idea where he's at with it now, but there was a promoter that had contacted him before the day was up that said, hey, man, sorry, but you're not going to be able to race at this race in June or July. And the dude had already put a pretty hefty deposit down, which was non-refundable. Like, it can be a pretty shitty deal. So, and these people take it serious. Like, they dump entire paychecks, empty life savings, cash in 401ks to build cars and whatnot, you know, in hopes that they can go out there and make some money with these things. And something like this can completely screw them. But something else you've got to realize and understand is, you know, there's just people, you know, behind these computers. And yeah, somebody screwed up big time. But like, what are you going to do? You know, like, what's done is done. I saw some pretty nasty stuff on the internet, you know, and like, while I understand where some of these people were coming from, come on, man. Like, we've all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, God bless. I fucked up way more than I've probably done good. I mean, that's just kind of part of it. So,
and to go over this quickly, it is, we literally bring somebody in, he sits in the trailer and he helps they dumped it down for me and said, process the timing system information into our graphics packages. And we're drag racers, right? We're a very niche situation. So this guy's smarter than all of us in that kind of shit. And he's sitting there and doing it. The class came up and he just kept doing the thing. And so, you know, it does, I know it sounded like fluff, but these are all upgrades that we've made to try and make what we do for drag racing be shown better so that we can consume it in a better fashion, and it bit. But we're trying to do everything we can. We're contacting these people to see if we can't either buy him back in or appeal it in a way, or change his car in a way to where he's ended up. But he's basically told me the car's fucking, it's done.
And something, what I saw a lot of was that Flo just hid behind it. They didn't do anything. And I want to kind of, and I know, and I'm not saying this because I'm friends with Courtney or whatever. I saw it happen live. I was on the phone. Me and JT were headed to Gainesville to watch Spencer make his last run in the funny car. I saw it live. I immediately texted Courtney and said, hey, real bad. Then I called her and explained to her why it was bad. She immediately called. Like, this happened right away. They started, but they have to go through the steps and jump through the hoops and not just blast something out there on the internet that they then got to edit or take down and repost. Yeah. Like, there was immediate action taken. It just didn't happen as quick as the internet thought it should have.
Flow drag racing is under Flow Racing, right? So then we had to go and decide, like, do we put this out on Flow Racing? All that does is confuse the guys who are dirt. We're bringing a problem to air that there. So we had to figure out what's the way. It's a big company. There's 5
and nothing against the people that work there, but they didn't really understand nor have any idea what even was going on. You know, and I being kind of knowing, again, I'm not calling myself some super grudge racer, but I understand how serious it was, and I kind of helped navigate some of that.
No, if it wasn't for you explaining that to me and you hooking me up with the competitors that were hurt with it, I don't think that the people at Flow who needed to make those decisions, because I can't just go in there and Flow Drag Racing social and type the shit up. Like, we have a PR department, we have a legal department. So, yeah, thanks for that, Lyle. But yeah, you were a large part in that. But we can go back to talking shit to each other here in a minute.
I see comments we're going to get to later talking about NHRA Gainesville Gator Nationals. That's coming on a little later. We'll get to some of that. All right, so let's we got my main man in the green room. Before we bring on Steve, let's smoke through some of the stuff for World Series Pro Mod. I want to get to some stuff. There's a lot of questions about parachutes and stuff like that.
Well, let's start by talking about 80 freaking pro mods on the property.
About 80 pro mods, real pro mods, hot rod pro mods on the property.
And you're talking about another 32 car field that was just as capable of qualifying and running good as the 32 that did.
Yeah, we could have had
champions in every organization D&Q.
Unbelievable, man. Like, I told him, I think I told Don at the top end, like, I've made some pretty good runs and monumental, I mean, you know, won big races and whatnot. But when I qualified Friday night or whenever it was, that felt as good as winning some other, like, it was so awesome to know that you had ran good enough.
What's the cool thing about an event like that? Like, just getting in is,
well, it's hard to get in, but like, you have to be at peak all the time. And like, you know, a lot of races, you show up Q1, you make an okay run, so you can build on it in Q2. Well, you don't know if you're going to go down the track in Q2 here or 3 or 4. So you better get it in Q1. You're at peak all the time. When you look at the qualifying sheet, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. You know, of course, the turbo cars are always going to be at the top, but besides that, it's really bunched up. Like, I mean, these are all world champions. I mean, look at that. Lyle made great run. That's order 1. I got to get rid of that.
There were some surprises up towards there were some surprises for me too up in the mix, but they worked themselves out.
I mean, when you got the owner of the PDRA with Jeff Pierce tuning it, qualifying on the bump, that just shows you how serious. You're talking about a current reigning world champion, right? I mean, it's a bloodbath out there. It's really hard. So where's that shoot question? Somebody asked me. So somebody posted this question. Watch a World Series Pro Mod from Australia, which costs a palm when you convert convict dollars or freedom dollars. Notice some stuff happening with shoots, some not deploying, some late, couple hung throttles, and me only deploying 1. So as far as me, I can pull my second chute from inside my car. We do not pin my chute. It is functional. If I have big chutes on my car, and it's a 68 Camaro. It's not aerodynamic like the new stuff. So if you pop both chutes, you get stuck on the track. I can immediately pull the second chute. Don't know if it's right, but it's what I do. A lot of folks are always just late on the chutes, whether they mean to or not. I normally get in trouble for pulling my chutes too early. I normally gig myself more than that. A lot of times feels like, hey, your chute's hitting the lights, but when I hit the mile per hour cone, I've already thrown the deal because I've been in trouble down there. And I want to show Scott Palmer's deal. This is hard to watch. You're talking about a real deal race car driver that's a badass. He got some heat on the internet. This would kill most people. I mean, this was a bad, gnarly crash. But this just shows you that the cars that we race are not safe. They're not docile. You know, it still blows my mind when I go to do a burnout and people will stand a foot from my car, from a screw-blown Hemi turning 8,000 RPMs, and like be okay with it, because like I see these things blow up on the dyno every day, and like when somebody does a burnout, I get behind a wall. This is gnarly.
Well, I mean, especially you, I'd not be wanting dressed up as a Christmas tree.
Shut up. So Palmer smoking down through their normal run, throttle hungs. He realizes it here. Once you start bouncing in one of these cars, you're not slowing it down. Like, you're not stopping it. I think he's trying to get the motor off. He is hauling ass when he hits this deal.
God almighty, dude.
I want to give a huge shout out to KTR's Don O'Neill. If you watch this, you watch Don O'Neill coming in. Well, they're going to cut it off. Don was the first one on the scene. I've never seen anybody sprint that hard to try to get to a driver. He beat the safety personnel there by almost a minute. And he did we got a lot of email at KTR about flow and the flow. You know, they don't know Don. They don't know him personally like we do, but he was the first one on the scene down there.
It was crazy to hear Don. Like, I know he said it on camera, but when you sit on a golf cart with a high noon in your hand and like decompress the situation, and he had said running up to it, like, I said, like, what were you thinking? He's like, well, he's a war vet, right? You go to the problem, not away from the problem. And he said he was just screaming, Scott, Scott, Scott. And he didn't expect to hear Scott's voice back. And when he heard Scott say, like, I'm here, I'm hung up, Scott was already trying to get out. And he got himself hung up on his steering column or something, trying to get out. But kudos to the safety equipment, kudos to the car. It kept him safe, because all of us watching, I don't know where each of you were, but I was on the starting line looking at the Jumbotron. And when that thing started bouncing, you think in your head, like, oh my God, what am I about to witness?
Well, we had the PA playing through the radio, and I knew that Palmer was up there, and I heard it. I was far enough down the racetrack that when I heard that thing come by wide open, I was like, this is not good. So I jumped on my little Burromax and hauled ass down there. And by the time I got there, There were people out there in the field. He was not out yet, but there were people out there in the field helping him. And then by the time I got off and was down into the strawberry patch there, they were just then picking him up out of the car, and he was
walked to the ambulance.
Yeah.
Well, when he got out, he looked at this. I mean, this is totally Scott Palmer, but he looked at Randy, the starter, and said, "Randy, that was spectacular, wasn't it?" Like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Dude.
But thank God Scott Palmer's okay.
He left it out in his pit all night. Like a lot of people would leave all weekend, really. But he had told Spencer something about a kid. Some kid had asked him, like, "Hey, can I come look at that later?" And they wanted to put it up, whatever. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave it out for this kid to come by." Came, looked at it. We stopped by. Everybody stopped by, and he was so real about explaining what happened. He said, I should have done this, but I did this. And by the time I did this, and he was like, they're saying on the internet this, but what you don't understand is, like, he's a veteran racer. He's done this a million times.
Not a first-time guy.
Not a first-time guy. And when you go through your processes, by the time your brain catches up, but he was just, my point of that is he was so vulnerable about telling what his brain was thinking while it, and not trying to make any excuses. Well, like, I did this and this didn't, yada, yada, or whatever. He was just like a really real person about it. And it was kind of refreshing.
Anybody can type an order of operations and exactly what they would do in that moment. But until you sit your ass in a fucking seat of it, and it's going 270 by the time shit really gets going wrong, like, shut the fuck up. You have no idea what you would do.
I would
probably the wrong shit and end up in the same situation. So
worse.
Scott Palmer is okay. The car can be fixed, and he lives to race another day, and that should be the fucking end of it.
So he should have zagged when he zigged. Cletus changed the game.
He did.
All right. So do y'all want to go through through eliminations and then bring Steve on, or you bring Steve on and let him comment as we go through eliminations?
Bring him on.
Right.
So I want to introduce your 2025 World Series of Pro Mod winner, the man that neutered me in the final, another Steve King.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Steve?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I never thought a bunch of hillbillies like me be on a show like this.
Hey, we're all hillbillies. That works out. I say the same thing every week.
Look at that background you got there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Got that El Chizo.
I got to put that shit up there, man.
Hey,
I
that's
don't
why
win.
we release cars. That money will be gone next week if it ain't gone already. But that trophy, it's hard to get another one of them.
That's a fact. I'm sure Gino done spent all that.
I saw you chug a lot of liquids out of that trophy the other day, Steve.
Woo! Yeah, that was a winner circle. I don't think we're gonna forget for a while, for sure.
No, that's the whole thing.
Never.
So as we get towards for our first time viewers, people to watch a lot. Steve King's been kicking butt in a lot of organizations. This is a guy who is running at the front in PDRA, running at the front and all the winter stuff. Me not surprised to see him in the winner circle at all. Got top-notch help, great equipment, drives the hell out of it. Congratulations. I was when I knew that I had to run you in the final, a lot of people were relieved. I was not. I know these people can come up and just kill us. What is it? Tell the fans about first what it is to qualify for these things and how hard it is to win 5 rounds.
Well, obviously you're running every round's like a final round. Obvious, that the quality of cars from first round all the way through is unbelievable. To qualify that last Lyle goes, down low. We go out there, the car don't shift into high gear. We're sweating bullets. If you don't run good in those night sessions, you may not get in.
Yep.
Right? We ran. I think we was a top 10 or 12 car in the daytime, and then we go out there on the 2 night sessions and transmission or whatnot happens, and we don't make clean good runs, and next thing you know, we're 30th. You're back there in the staging lanes going, oh shit, we might not even get in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that just qualifying is an achievement.
Is that where you ended up 30th
Yeah,
when it was all said and done?
Yep, ended up 30th. Like, we're rolling up there like, man, I run here in this final session, and we didn't. We had some for whatever reason, the 2 night sessions, we did not make very good runs.
We were talking about in our team newsletter this race, like when we decided we were bringing two cars to Winter Series, mine and Sydney's, our goal was not to win. We wanted to try to qualify at all 3 races with both cars. And like when you hear a team like ours say that like that's our goal, that just shows you how hard it is. And we did. We qualified. I qualified top 10 all 3 times. Sydney qualified all 3 races. And like we take that as that was our wins for this week in our team newsletter, was that we qualified all 3 races with both cars. It's freaking hard. It's hard.
Very much so. We qualified for all 3 races as well. I felt like in the daytime, like I'm wanting the sun to get up in the sky. I'm like, get up in the sky.
Me too.
Yeah, we got a top 10 car, I think, with the sun out. And that early morning session, the second race of the year, I had to run Mickey, who goes 356 or some shit, and I go 60, and it's like he goes by me like a freight train out there. Right?
Pretty incredible.
But that's part of the deal. You're facing that quality of competition. You got to step up.
It's hard.
And I think something that's lost a little bit is from a fan's perspective and whatnot is how important it is for the drivers to go up there and do what they're supposed to do to stage these things right.
Yep.
You know, like for the longest time, and probably until modern day, in pro mod at least, it just wasn't as important. You know, you could go up there and stuff that thing in 5 or 6 inches deep. You know, if it had a good tune-up in it, man, we'll probably be all right. You know, we can get it in there. But you're talking about an inch or 2 deeper than you really should be, and you're talking about 3 to 4, and you stuff it in there real deep, and you're talking about going from the inside to the out.
Yeah, 10
spots. And like how important it is to go up there and drive the cars good. You know, don't steer them all over the racetrack. You kind of, even if they're a little irate, not really driving straight, you just kind of got to let them do it and keep them somewhat between the mayonnaise and the mustard, if you will, and let them just go to the finish line, because it is so important, you know, and I watch and I pay attention, you know, and I think a lot of people, you know, may not have really, you know, known, maybe not even know who Steve King was before, you know, but like the dude they do now, and the dude can fucking drive, you know, and like, and you have to be able to do it to win these deals. Like, you're not just going to go up there with a John Salemi tune up in just any car and win the frickin' race. You know, you, Melanie, all of the guys and gals that he deals with are really good drivers, and you frickin' proved it, dude. And I'm proud of you. I know the team is pumped. You know, talk a little bit about who you've got with you, Steve. You know, I know Salemi and them, which you can talk about him, but you know, a lot of people may not know the story behind your team and whatnot. So talk a little bit about who's with you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got the whole G-Force gang up there, Jim, John, and Evan. You know, they prep this car every race. And then, you know, my guys, I have Jeff Miller, who's been with me for 25 years. God, it's like a couple centuries or some shit, right? But we've been racing forever. I feel like a little kid. Like with you guys, I feel like, I know I'm older, but I feel like a little kid in this group of racers when I look at them, like stars that I feel star. You guys are stars, and we're kind of flying underneath the radar. Yeah, we've been racing a lot, and with Jeff, and I got Chad right out there. Gene Pilot owns this deal. My son's on board. He stays way in the background, don't like anything in the spotlight, but like he's underneath there pulling rods out, bearings out. You know, he's right down in there in the mustard, right? And all those guys have been with us for a lot of years, and we've been doing it. But to run at this level is I don't even know how to explain it. When you have, I mean, Stevie, we got Scott Palmer out there, you know, Jason Harris, all those guys. I mean, every round you go up there first round, you're running the world champ first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about how hard it is, I want to run through at least my elimination round. I show up E1, I got Stan Shelton. You know he can flat out drive. Man goes 009 on me. I'm not late. I'm 20-something. Margin of victory at the finish line is 9 thou. Then guess who I get? Ty Tutterow. Ty Tutterow is a future world champion. That is a driving son of a gun, and he's got Todd Tutterow tuning. We leave together, margin of victory 5 thou. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have even been in the third round. We finally get to the third round, and by the way, I have avenged the anti-Cheeto eaters. Everything is back right with the world. I have slayed the beast and beat all the
One
Pluto
and
bugs.
one there, Bob.
Huh?
It's one
What?
and one.
1-1.
Yeah. Oh, you.
Well, if it's 1-1, then it would have to come down to a tiebreaker, right?
Which is what we all want.
Well, I'm just saying,
Who wants it?
if it was, you'd have to go to the final points just to see.
Fair. I'll shut
I'm just saying, if it's 1-1, it'd be whoever finished the season in points.
I hear you.
Put
Okay.
Steve King up there, number 2 in the world.
I know.
Ooh, crush me. Come
Wow.
around and haul some gas on me. I'm
Well,
gonna just leave this up here for the whole rest of the show. So if y'all have to look around.
Just
if
take
you
that
want
off.
people
We
to
know
see-
you finished third.
All right.
First
Okay,
round.
wait, hold on. We're about to get to it because the reason I want to show this is I want to get through this next round, and then I want Steve's input on the semis. So we managed to win the first 2 rounds by a total of 14 thousandths. All right, we come up and race the Outlaws of the Street. I don't know what happened here. It looks like they're headed over to the interstate or something. Shadows blazing down through there with that Bumblebee Composites. Ready to roll. Made a good run. All right, this is the one that I want everybody's opinion on. We get to the semis. I got a tremendous amount of crap about the semifinals. You guys did. I was told I was a cheater, that I took advantage of a situation. Many, many times I burned the man down and caught his car on fire and cheated. I want to know what you guys think about this right here. And I mean, I left the audio off on this so we can talk about it, but does anybody agree that it takes 2 people to tango?
Yes.
You cannot, this is not a burn down. This is
At
a
all.
staging duel.
That's correct.
Yeah, I agree. It's a staging duel.
Yep.
I did not let that man go in and sit for 7 seconds and burn his car up. He's at idle just like I am. At any point that he wants to, he can roll that top bulb in, hit that bottom bulb, and I'll follow him right on in. For those of you that have never raced against a turbo car, most of them struggle to stage it without blinking the bulb. So the reason blower guys don't like going in last or don't like going in first is simply because when you're staring at that bulb and you know if you go 50 or 60 on the tree, you're probably dead, and they're flashing a light bulb at you, it's hard to do it. It's not because we want to heat the people's stuff up. My car was 245 degrees when I finally staged it. This right here cost me the engine in the final.
Here's the thing, though, Stevie. I've told you this a million times. You are who you are in drag racing, and it did not matter, even if that was who initiated, who whatever, who was holding up, yada, yada, yada. You're Stevie Fast Jackson, and you're a villain, and that's going to be on you no matter what the facts are.
I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I didn't tell him to build them pieces of shit.
Steve,
And I have a lot of respect for Mike Bowman.
Watching it was fucking awesome.
I have a lot of respect for Mike Bowman. He's a great driver, World Series of Pro Mod champion. Went and shook his hand at the top end. But anybody that wants to call me a cheater for that,
No, that ain't cheating.
let's
That's
see me in the next race.
What do you think about it, Steve?
Anybody can go in when they're ready. I mean, we even against Erica, when I run Erica, we took our time going in, but I just go in when I'm ready, whether I want to go first, second. You know, we both have the same option. I mean, we're up there trying to put it in light anyway.
There was some time on that one.
Yeah, we took our time. But you know, like Steve said, you can go in when you want. If you want to go in, there's no
absolutely nothing wrong with what happened in that round. Nothing.
That's what's going to make this shit exciting, and that's what outlaw racing's about. Like, if you want everybody, it's frowned upon, it's whatever. Okay.
I mean, did Mike Bowman cuss you at the top end for?
No, he's naturally just like I was. He's upset, he didn't win. That was another 7 thou margin. Of course, nobody likes getting crushed. I mean, I didn't like getting crushed when Steve crushed me. But no, I mean, he's a competitor. He's a racer. He gets it. Now, if I hung the man out for 6.5 seconds, yes, he gets nasty up there. And I mean, I've done that. It's been a long time since I did that. As more people, because everyone will build all these turbo cars as long as they leave the rules the way they are, we will have to deal with this more and more. It's part of racing. It's in the rule book. Ricky Smith will tell you he's going to use every piece of rule book that they give him, and he'll tell you that straight up. So I don't know.
I think you got 7 seconds to go in. You just go when you want. I mean, that's the rules. I don't see any reason why anybody's getting upset. You got 7 seconds. Go when you feel like it.
And like Steve said, anybody can make the decision to light that third bulb.
As soon as you go, I'm gonna follow you right on in there.
Yep.
I mean, that's just part of the deal. So you had a really difficult road to the final two. E1, you go up against Cameron Hensley.
Yep.
Not like anybody that's qualified is not tough, but you got a tough round. Then you got to face Jeff Rudolph. Then you got to face Double E.
Yep.
You got to race Jason Harris. And then you got to race me. So like that's what I'm saying. Like every one of these rounds is a final round. Every single one.
100%. We go up against Cameron in the large machine, which is obviously won lots of races. That car's fast. I mean, if you qualify, you're fast.
Yep.
And then, we went out there. I think he had a little bit of problem on the top end. We had a little bit of luck going for us this weekend. I mean, I can't deny that. It's not like we had the most dominant car on the property, but we went out there and I left a little bit on him. Not like it was a stellar light first round, and we get the win. You come back up. We got Jeff Rudolph, who I think is like a top 5 car right now in the country. The way he's been running, he's a win waiting to happen.
Yeah,
and I think he shook, and we was 20 on the tree or something. We make another good. John give us a good tune up. We make a good rip, and then bang, you got Erica coming up. We're back there. I'm pounding Mountain Dews and changing my face shields and. I'm doing everything like, damn, I got to step up my game here. And, we made a good run. I think she still drilled me. That's why she's one of the best in the world. She's 007 to my 24 or something like that. But I mean, that's the competition level, and then who do I got? There's Jason Harris, who's me and Jason's kind of been back and forth all year. So I'm on my 4th Mountain Dew, I think. And, I think this dude, I think he breaks the blower and whatnot on that Pro Charge 10,000 horsepower thing he's got. And, we go into the final and, you look over and it's Stevie. It's like, holy shit, do I not get away from a champ somewhere?
And you said in your interview, like, I kind of behind the scenes, like, shut you up a little. I put you in check because you said, oh, this, it just was my day. I got lucky, this and that. When you look back at the World Series of Pro Mod winners, no offense, Stevie, they're not large names, right? Like they're not the guys that come in. They're not Ken Cartuccio, who win every single race. They're not Stevie Fast Jackson, who just lit the world up on fire, literally. They're guys like Mike Bowman. They're guys like Spencer Hyde, who beat people like Kurt Stedding and Stevie Fast. And that's the way that those races go because of the chip draw and because of just situational stuff. And I don't know what kind of hex voodoo shit Wes Buck has done on the drag racing community, but it makes stars. And again, no offense, Stevie, like you are already a star, but this race makes stars, and it did it again. Yeah,
and then when you look at the final, look at the excitement of everybody on the starting line. We're gonna show the final. Look at the some of the most favorite thing that I love to do is even when it's not me, is watch how excited everybody is on the winning side. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, this piece of shit needs to hang together for one more run. That's a lot of folks back there. That's a lot of people. And right here, I'm like, I got you. And then I'm like, no. 1,000 of a second margin of victory, tightest margin of victory in World Series of Pro Mod history. When that thing blew up at 3.5, y'all do not understand. If you've never driven one of these or you've never competed in a real sport and you have been at your capacity, meaning that all of the cards are on the table and there's no ace left in the hole. And when you look over there, I'm leaning forward, about broke the gas pedal off, and I can see the nose of your car. And I got you. The motor brakes. When that thing dips up there, that's the worst feeling in the world. It's terrible.
I can tell you when I went by the 60-foot cone, I had a few curse words flying because I knew you got out on me. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to lose the World Series of Pro Mod on a hole shot. And I think the 5th Mountain Dew did me in, to be honest with you.
You think it tipped you over?
Yeah, it took me over the top. I got to stop at 4.
If Steve King can't get a Mountain Dew sponsorship, I don't know who can get what.
Boy, who else? I mean, I was trying to get up for Stevie, obviously, and I really went up there thinking you got to be 20 or better. I mean, that's my figure because I know he's going to be, and obviously every round that's what I was thinking. And I go out there and go 50 on the tree. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what the hell I blinked. Maybe a fly flew in front. I don't know what the hell it was, but
What was the build up to that like, Steve? Like when you guys are servicing that thing and you're going back up there for the final round of that deal, like did you even have time to think about what was going on?
It was crazy. Like I went for 2 chip draws with oil dripping off my hands as we was changing motors and pistons, and I ran up there once and I retch in. I think it was the semis, and I'm like, I forgot I had oil over my hands. I didn't even think about it when I retch in there and give it to Craig or whatnot. And we was changing. I know Stevie and I'm like, I need like 30 minutes. I'm putting the engine in. We knew we had to step it up.
There's very few people that work on their cars, drive their cars, and tune their cars. This chip draw deal, like when y'all are screaming, when you come got me, I told Courtney, like the rest of these guys are up here eating nachos. I've got to help put a piston in, download the run, and drive the son of a bitch and tune it. It's hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? We only get about 15 minutes, and y'all eat up 10 of it with me up there on that stage.
When I came and got you, I said, they said you don't have to come. I'll draw for you. And you said, nope, I'm going to be a part of it.
It's hard. You know, there's a reason that, you know, I talked to Billy Stocklin about it this weekend. You know, I told him, I said, hey, man, I'm not as good a driver as I used to be at these things. I'm good. I can do it, but it's not natural. And he told me, he's like, you can't tune these cars and drive them at the level that people like Lyle, people like Steve drive them. It's really hard. I'm not saying you can't do it, and we do make it happen. It's hard to quit thinking about tuning and drive the car. It really is.
100%. My guy, Jeff Miller, when we was early on, this is like 2010, 12, and my funds kind of dried up, and Jeff brought his car out, and he was driving it some, and like 2 or 3 races in, he went red, and he's like, he comes to me in the trailer. He's like, you're the driver. I'm like, it's your car. I can't drive. And he came back to me. He's like, I can't tune this car and drive it and work on it and keep my mind in the game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I know where you're coming from.
The first race that I ever ran for Elite Motorsports, World Series of Pro Mod, whatever that was, 2020 or 21. Last year it was quarter mile at Orlando. I was fresh to the team, you know, trying to help and be a part and whatnot, you know, and Richard Freeman and Erica rode up behind the trailer on a golf cart, and I walked over there, and Richard looked at me and he said, Lyle, the 2 best drivers I have, one of them is sitting right here. The other one at that time was Jag Coughlin Jr. He said, they don't give a fuck about that race car. He said, they are the drivers. You are the driver, and that's all I want you to do. That was it. Started eating corn dogs. I've ate corn dogs ever since.
I'm jealous. I ain't throwing no stones. I want to touch on Jamie's comment. I forgot about that. It's not a tie. I have crushed Birdman, Ryan Martin. We forgot about Jimmy Taylor. The only time I've ever gotten beat by one Cheeto guy, and my whole rep is gone in the trash.
It was on the biggest stage.
Mopar, yes, we're still hiring. We're looking for 5 fabricators, 3 to 5 wiring guys, and a full-time dyno operator right now, along with truck drivers and other people. So just keep on coming to work. Everybody just show up tomorrow and keep coming to work.
That's the thing about Pro Mod. Pro Mod has turned into such a business. Obviously, we'll capitalize on it. You know, Lyle does his business is racing, and you know, I got to come home and go dig some dirt. So that's what we do, right?
I am jealous of you most days. Today, I wish I was digging dirt with you. There are days everyone thinks that what we do is glamorous. Oh man,
right.
It does change when your real life is it and your weekend life is it.
Phil Schuler was sitting on my couch yesterday, and I was like, Phil, don't ever race cars for a living. He's like, I do. I said, but don't ever let it be your only means of income. Don't do it.
Well, I can see it. I mean, like when I was growing up, that was my dream, right? What I'm doing right now, I'm living my dream. Obviously, that's what I'm doing with Gene Pilot and the Salemi crew and all those guys up there. You know, I'm living my dream. This is what I said in English class, looking at hot rod magazines in my English book, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm living it. You've turned it into a business.
Go you, Stevie.
Such a great idea. I love my life most days. Speaking of, I promised Courtney on the top end that we would put this for Shake and Bake.
Yeah.
Or This everybody else thinks this is great. Steve King and me do not.
Shake it.
That sucks. That sucks so bad when that happens.
I said, "Oh, Stevie, we got to get a picture." It was like
When y'all hear that, boo, even when it's not me, I'm like, "Oh God!" It's
The old Hank whistle.
Oh,
no, I said, "Oh, Stevie, I think you found your low." Right after.
I seen the flash, and then after that, it was just a blur. It was just a blur between the radio and, you know, I don't even know how to even explain the top end with you guys. You couldn't get out the car with the front end all effed up and
again,
right, all that stuff. But then once we left Courtney, the amount of people that going up the return road, I'll be honest with you, was kind of overwhelming. Scott Palmer with tears in his eyes. I mean, really, it's you know, the hair.
I think everyone was so happy that a normal car won.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these turbo guys obviously have a massive advantage. Pro Charger guys got a big help. Like, you know, we've had Street Outlaw superstars winning. You know, there was a lot of people that were glad that two normal race cars, pro mods, were running for the final. I mean, I had a lot of fans. I had a lot of fans come up and tell me that you were going to kick my butt. And I was like, I hope so. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what it's about. We're trying to cut each other's throat out up there. Obviously, you do a lot of internet stuff. We did a little bit the last year or so with some videos, and it creates the drama that's the people in the stands, I think. Lyle's been doing them. You guys been doing them a lot more than me. I'm not internet savvy. Jess has helped me a bunch, obviously, and I've did a bunch of, I guess, real videos as far as whether I'm acting like I'm fishing or that type of stuff, which I think brings real people into the scenario of, hey, this is a real guy here doing this.
Which, speaking of, Jess with ET Edits she does some stuff for Stevie and I, and she does a fantastic job. That girl's really talented.
And I got to tell you, Steve, I know you know this, but as an outsider who I've gotten to know her, that girl, you couldn't have freaking pinned her balloon that night. That was all the hard work. She helping Wes that weekend. I was one of the hardest working people on the property that weekend. And what happened in the winner's circle and her being a part of that, I don't really know how that all came about, but you couldn't have pinned her balloon. She was on cloud 49.
I think she's still on cloud 49. She's up there.
That girl's awesome. But speaking of cloud 49, Stevie, I think you have a new picture of what Steve King looked like in the winner's circle the other night.
Hold on. Is there something in there?
Yeah, Molly just loaded it.
It's a picture?
David Hillner sent it to us. It's a photo.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's shake and bake worthy right there. Look at all that grease on that man's arm. There ain't a lot of folks over there that win and got grease on their arm in a winner's circle. That's what I'm talking about. That's racing.
I told Spencer when we got back to the pit, I said, oh, the cameras were going off and, you know, he's done it before and the money's flying in the air and it's a whole thing. But I said, in between photos, I watched Steve King take 2 beers, smash them together, and shotgun each of them, threw it down, and then took another picture. And I said, I've never seen anything like that.
That's the best.
Wild man.
Ever. Somebody said,
I knew I had it. I wish I could find it. It was unbelievable.
I took the opportunity. I just slam these beers together. Let's stone cone them up.
But like no one was even watching. Like you did that for you.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It was.
Well, if me or you ever win the World Series of Pro Mod, we're going to shotgun beers in the winter.
Dude, if I ever win the World Series of Pro Mod.
I have been to every one of these things except for one when I had my neck surgery. I went to all the Denver races. I spent the $10 million going out west. I have tried to win these things since he's been having them. It's freaking hard. I still can't do it.
Oh, and then you drove that bitch back, didn't you, buddy?
Yeah, Jeff. Actually, Jeff. Look, Jeff is still on cloud 9. I was trying to take pictures, interviews. I hear the car start up. I turn around. Jeff's in it. Him and Evans in the car. John's ribbing it up. Money's flying in the air. Boom, down through the pit they go. You know, that's what the racing's about. I mean, the people love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the fans were pretty fired up.
I'll tell you
we were over there at Jody. I was drowning at the Jody Messina Cantina over there when y'all were driving that thing around. Phil's sitting over there, and I'm like, and y'all go driving it around. It feels like that's what they're supposed to do, Stevie. That's what you do when you crush everybody. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're obnoxious. You can.
I'm
handle
obnoxious. I definitely are. I fail enough to where I feel like if I ever win by accident, I'll be obnoxious.
Not
That's
that
what
you're
it's
but driving the shadow back had you won that race.
Well, you could not have drove the shadow back after that race.
I feel like most races you wins, you can't drive.
Pro Modified needs Lyle and needs Stevie, period. That's just the way it is. These guys.
Well, they need you too, Steve King, and you proved that.
Well,
God, I wish I could find that video.
So we're in this together, brother.
That's right. What do you think about the state of parity in the Winter Series, Steve King? Like, where do you think we're at? Where do you think we need to go?
Well, my car is probably not a. We ran good in the daytime. We really did good in daytime condition. Nighttime, I can't run with them 10,000 horsepower popcorn makers, whatever them things do, blowing shit out of them. And obviously they're badass. Pro Charge guys are bad. But then I turn around and look at Ken Coturcio. He goes out there and rips off number after number. So
can be done.
It can be done. I don't want that rule. I don't want their job. Obviously, they're wrong always.
Oh yeah,
they're going to take the bad end of the stick. You look at the qualifying sheet, all badasses at the top. The turbo, they got that big popping and banging and 240 mile an hour, whatever the hell that thing goes out the back. Looks like a freight train going by. Yeah, I know that. But
I think your nighttime car is coming though. Like if you can run that good in the daytime, you guys just and y'all will figure it out. Like that's coming. You know what I mean? Like y'all have a car that makes enough power, obviously,
100%
to run up there. Like that's coming.
We had little 10-cent parts break, didn't shift into high gear. We went 61, 60, whatever at night, and John and them's program's great. We know, and then if Ken can go 57 or 58 with the screw blower, so can we. It's there. So I don't want to make the rules. I'm kind of the guy that kind of plays that level playing field. I don't stir it up too much on the rule side of things. I try to stay level, try to be everybody's buddy.
you are, and you even let me drive your handicap little wheeler one time, which is really cool.
I got that bitch back in the semifinals.
Hell yeah, you did. And yeah, that's pretty cool that you got to race him, given you started all that shit. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's, you know what, that was Jess doing it, but I'm following Stevie and you guys' footsteps really, and Jess kind of nudged me into doing some of them videos like that handicap deal, and I had a couple beers with that handicap deal, and I said, hey, it'd be pretty cool. Let me back up on this handicap, and next thing I know, it blows up.
It did.
So
it forced us, like even at Flow, my producer was like, you have to go interview Steve King because of what he said online. And then Melanie and I stole your shit.
Yeah, take it on. It's what's part of it. That's what we do. We're there to have fun as well. It's all business, but we're there to have fun as well.
No, that was freaking awesome. Justin's sending me all these videos. This is awesome. I think here's the video. Oh my gosh. Should I send it to Molly?
I don't know.
I'm gonna play it here and then send it to Molly.
You guys were doing some dancing and singing on that scooter.
Wait, he ain't done.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Woo!
Yes.
Series of Pro Mod, you got a shotgun 2 beers.
You damn right.
But like, I want to reiterate, they were getting the banner ready. No one was caring. And here's
they were getting ready to do the celebration.
Yeah. And he's like, nah, man, I'm not.
God, that's awesome. Fires me up.
Dude.
I'll go out there and start carbon fiber and my body back on right now. I'm gonna walk outside, start putting the main pan rail back in that thing.
It's not like we haven't won a race before, but that winning that race is
That's different.
You won the big one, dog. You won the big one.
Yep, 100%.
That is very different. And with that 1.5 points, it scooted your ass on right up there in the points.
Yeah, how the hell that happened? You know, we had a good car at the first.
You won the fucking race. That's how it happened. You shoved it up in there.
Well, he didn't qualify for the first one, and he was like 4th in points when we went into the third one.
Right. That 1.5 helped, and we had a great weekend. And I know you told me in the interviews, but I kept saying some days it's your day. And I really feel like
that's
just our day.
100%. And when it's your day, you can't be beat.
Oh,
Correct.
when you beat Jason here, I mean, obviously I'm biased. When you beat Erica, I was like, damn, because I had a good feeling. When you beat Jason Harris, it's over.
I woke up that morning. I told the guys, I said, I got a good feeling about today. And I didn't say that any in the World Series at all. No matter who we had, even Erica, like 3 Mountain Dews in, I'm like, I'm gonna drill her ass. I'm gonna tattoo her. Although she tattooed my ass.
Had she made it 60 feet, she might have.
Yes. Oh, she would have stayed there for sure. But when it's your day, it's your day. I kept saying it all day long.
You're exactly right.
And huge, we didn't put this up yet, but huge congratulations to Ken Q. Dominant performance at World Series Pro Mod. Definitely, I would say the car of the field.
Yeah. And like I said in his interview, I don't think anybody was mad about that. Like that was deserved. He's just the nicest guy ever. Like he apologized to people that he drew. It's just wild. He apologized to Spencer after Spencer drew him, and we hadn't even raced yet.
Oh man, he said, "I'm sorry."
He's like,
"Sorry about to wax your ass."
He realized Spencer went from this to this.
That's like it's tough, like because we can all say that we're badasses, but like you don't want to draw Ken Q up there. You definitely don't want one of them turbo cars.
You don't want to draw. Period.
I know that, but there's a couple cars that you can't outrun. Like right now, Ken Q's got the most consistent, quickest car. You don't want to run that guy because he can drive.
Yep.
The turbo cars can run. We don't know how fast they can go. So like you don't want to run them, right? Like my goal is always to try to draw somebody that's got what I got. That way, at least if he kicks the shit out of me or she kicks the shit out of me, like they beat me with what I got. So as bad as I hate to say it, that's the way I think about it.
Yep.
Well, it all just worked the way it worked. And Steve King is the gosh damn champ.
Right.
Shit, man. We're happy as hell about that, too. I think Gene Pilot, I don't even know what the hell he did that night. He wasn't at the race, but he told me he did a burnout all the way down the street, tore the transmission out of his vehicle, whatever. He said, I just left it out there to hell with that thing. And he was just so damn happy. I don't know if he run naked through New Jersey or what he did. I don't know what.
I would have. I'd have been naked as hell.
Yep, hell yes. And he not only does he do a lot for us, he does a lot for Pro Mod and wants zero recognition. Zero. Behind the scenes, always. And he's like, we'll do this, but I don't want my name mentioned at all. And that's just Gene. He loves Pro Modified.
Zig, we're gonna get to this in a little bit. We got a lot of questions about the bug games though.
Oh, Jackson, the other Jackson wants
fired up.
He is. He wants to talk about Gainesville too.
Whoop, whoop.
Gainesville Legal Series.
You ever think about dipping your toe in the pond over there?
Hey, if Gene wants to go, we'll go. But I don't know if he's real candid about that. So he likes the outlaw stuff. But if Gene goes, I'll go. Look, dude, I'm broke as a joke. I ain't going nowhere without Gene.
Tom, yes, we're definitely going to go over that too. Steve, we really appreciate you coming on, brother. You got anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Hey, just my guys. I got the Slimmy crew. Obviously, you guys all know, and John, Jim, even their guy up there, Eddie. All those guys jumped in, changing motors and stuff. And then my guy Jeff Miller, obviously, he's been with me 25 years. Damn, I'm getting old. And then Chad Wright. ET edits. She does all of her video stuff. We don't ever plug her that much. We give her shit and right. Just you got to give it to her, right? And
I got to say something about Chad before you move on. That man had the best 60-foot time of the weekend. 100%. Period. When you left, you see that video of him running. He didn't even know who to go to, where he was. I think
he just knew he needed to run somewhere.
I don't know.
That dude gets fired up.
I love it.
Yep, and that's part of it. That's part of the whole Winter Series deal, and then the World Series. The amount of I don't even know how to say it, the excitement is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It is not manufactured in any way. It is real. and it is crazy.
Yep. Exactly, 100%. I'm glad you guys had us on.
Yep. Steve, man, again, congratulations, dude. You drove a good race. Your guys worked really hard. I've said it a long time that the guys behind the scenes don't get enough credit. Not many people realize what it takes, what kind of crew, the quality of crew it takes to run these cars at the front and win a race like that. So from top to bottom, you guys just did a fantastic job, man. I'm happy for you. Look forward to seeing you at PDRA in a few weeks, and just congratulations, man. That's one that'll last forever, dude.
Team PDRA to the front.
We're going.
All right, before you go, hey. All right, you won the World Series of Pro Mod, shotgun 2 beers. You left there because you were hungry, and you went to the Mexican joint after that. I want to know, when they bring out that big old celebratory plate of steamy, smoky fajitas, do you love them or hate them?
I love them, baby.
We're 1 in 300, Lyle. 301. We're crushing your ass. That's a man of the people. People's champ right there.
Not man enough to tote the way to manhood, I see, Steve. That's the stage face you got, but you keep eating those fajitas, buddy.
Me and the 2 Steves, next time we go racing together, maybe PDRA or something, we're going to get us a big old mess of fajitas.
Damn, Skippy.
Unbelievable. I take everything good back I said about you, Steve. Take it all back.
Thank you for coming on. We love you and we appreciate you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I got to thank Gene Pilot, period.
Yep.
He's the man behind us. Without him, we ain't shit.
good deal, man. Well, congratulations, dude. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
a lifelong dream right here.
Thanks, dude. See you, Steve.
Great guest. How about that? World Series of Pro Mod winner. Lyle, your beer counter got me drinking with a restrictor plate. Lyle, yeah. All right, we have a tremendous amount of shit to talk about.
Yeah, we got to dive into it.
Okay, so World Series of Pro Mod, I believe, is done.
I'm going to give flow numbers real quick.
All right, flow numbers for World Series Pro Mod.
So, well, since everything, I'm going to include our little off season of drag racing. We got US Street, Lights Out, Pro Superstar Shootout, Snowbirds, World Series of Pro Mod. We had 40 million minutes of drag racing viewed in 3 months. That's pretty insane. We had where's my subs? On the World Series of Pro Mod, I know we had 4,000 new subscriptions. Those are new eyeballs on the World Series of Pro Mod, on US Street, on Snowbirds, all of that. It was an incredible deal for racing, and the season hasn't even started yet. So big success.
I thought the production was great. The drone stuff, I know that wasn't 100% a part of just you guys, but the big screen at the race, like everything that went on, like that was. I thought
Prime was a big part of that. They're now a partner of ours and help us even through the pro race. Did it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Before we move on to the Gator Nationals, want to, condolences to TJ Bailey and the family. That's a tough deal. Don't even know what to say.
Just bad news, man. Just heart goes out to his family. I know that they were injured as well. It looks like everybody's going to be okay. But yeah, unfortunately, TJ lost his life, man. It was just a bad deal.
Yeah, they were already on site getting ready for TX2K and supposedly on their way to the tower to go to safety, and it just happened like tornadoes do in a second. So tough deal, but the kids survived, wife survived, and that's horrible. And the fact that they went on with this race and did it in his honor, the whole thing's in his honor is really cool. But it's horrible. The Texas Motorplex community, like he was El Prepe, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle.
Really sad.
All right, so Gator Nationals. Before we get into the Gators, I want to talk about NHRA Pro Mod at the Gator Nationals. What happened, why it happened, and I want to put all the rumors to bed. Because half everybody's saying NHRA canceled Pro Mod. Half everybody's saying Pro Mod racers refused to race. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. We had a really bad situation with a lot of rain. We got one round of qualifying. On Sunday morning, it rained and poured at 10:30 a.m. We knew that we could not complete the race at Gainesville, no matter what. Rain scheduled to come back in at 6 o'clock. And the Pro Mod group voted in the best interest of the fans, safety, and the sponsors to carry on the event somewhere else. It's a shitty situation. Half everybody's going to shoot us in the head because we made the decision. If we would have went out there and only ran one round or not been able to race at all or wadded a car up before the track got rubber back down on it, we'd have been stupid that way too. There's no right or wrong answer. Everybody wanted to race in Gainesville. We're excited about carrying on this race at another event to be announced soon.
I had a fan. I was sitting underneath the scooters kind of line up. And we were watching the semis, and I had a fan yelled shake and bake and whatever. And then he's like, "Hey, tell Stephen Lyle I'm pissed. Y'all didn't run." And that kind of stuff there. I kind of told him what happened. He was real close and whatnot. But Pro Mod is a different entity within the NHRA. They have their own rights. They have their own decisions. And they have their own vote. And I think it was the call.
It's no way to win, right? We love the fans. We came to put on a show for the fans. There was no way to race to completion. There just wasn't. We can't control Mother Nature. Gainesville, it normally rains a lot. NHRA didn't do anything wrong. They didn't shaft us. They worked with us and did everything that they could and that we could. If we had have taken Pro Mod up there when they tried to run Top Fuel, you definitely would have wadded them up. We could have probably went up after their second round and made some good runs. At the end of the day, we've been sitting in the rain for 5 straight days. Everybody has jobs. We all have to go home to work.
And the track was what it was, and it would have changed the complete outcome of the race, just like it did in first round of everything. I think y'all made the right call.
Yeah. I don't know if it's right. It's tough. And sometimes in business, you got to make the tough calls. But
it was unified. Justin Elway asked him, I said, did anybody like him, or whatever? He said, no, everybody was pretty much in agreement.
It was a unanimous decision amongst the competitors. Fuel Tech was a presenting sponsor. We have the FTI Showdown that we're going to make up. And I want to give a big shout out to those sponsors who are they're excited to work with Pro Mod, and they're giving us a lot of latitude and support for making this race up. So a big thank you to both of those companies.
So now Gainesville.
All right, let's talk about Gator Nationals. We also have to talk about a little bit of IHRA stuff. We'll get that then. All right, we have all kind of cool stuff that happened at the Gators. We got world records flying out. Greg Anderson smashing the Pro Stock world record. 644, 12 mile an hour, mine shaft conditions.
That was a fucking badass run.
It was a badass run.
Brittany Force smoking to the 8th mile at 302 miles an hour. How fast do you think that thing would go if it did not have a timing limiter on the top end?
Dangerous.
I don't even know.
I mean, it would run. I don't know. Top Fuel car, once they reach X amount of RPM pulse timing, still managed to go 302 to the 8th.
Crazy.
You think the tire would take it?
I don't know. They're blowing them apart now. I want to give a huge shout out to my man Chad Green on his second funny car win.
Yes, man. God, he drove a good race.
Brown smashing Top Fuel. Dallas Glenn and Gage Herrera rounding up the Pro Stock stuff. That was some good racing to watch on Sunday.
Dallas Glenn got him a little get back after Pomona.
Oh yeah, get back. He's driving the heck out of that thing.
And how about the drama there with Vance and Hines and the Smith crowd after Andrew's top end interview?
I don't know. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, they. I guess Matt's bike wouldn't start. They went to go restart it. His team wanted him to go. Gage's team supposedly wanted him to go. Gage said, "No, I'm going to wait," which is really cool because with the amount of races Gage has won and is going to win, people are going to hate him. And he's got to do things like that of like, he made a good point to me today. Like he's confident that he was going to win. So he said, "Well, wait." And Matt did more than I think that they thought he was going to do. Ended up pulling the seat out, whatever. And Matt made a comment about the ready lines back there. If you ain't ready.
Andrew did.
Or Andrew, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong freaking. That's how old I am. Matt Hines is the Hines for me.
But Andrew said something along the lines of, the ready line's back there, but we waited on them, and then that turned into a little bit of a shitstorm.
But that's how it's going to be with those two. It's been that way. It's going to be. Matt and Angie are very vocal, off and on the track, and Gage and them are vocal on the track, and it's going to be a battle of that all year. So better get used to that.
It's going to be exciting. We had pretty tough crash in Top Fuel.
Yep.
And I mean, this is, before everybody says anything, this is a Gator Nationals champion. This just shows you how quick things can go wrong in a racing car. This is somebody that's good at it. That's tough to watch, and Tripp's mad too. Like, you can see him.
Dude, they showed him after, just his face. Like,
I can tell when he tosses gloves out of the car first. Like, I've done that, and you're mad at yourself.
You watch the team, like, same thing what you said about when Steve won. I watched the team. Like, they just knew, God, that's so devastating, because he just put all that together. And I feel like he's a player. He's going to be a player when he goes out consistently, and that car looked good, and that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
We've got a very vocal Bob Tasca.
Ooh, we love that. He said, "This ain't the fake news network." Straight up with a Fox Sports microphone, shit about Fox Sports. We love it. But he's not wrong.
So evidently there's been some folks saying IndyCar is, I guess, the
Fox
fastest
had a
motorsport.
commercial that came out and said the fastest motorsport in the world. And there were some people that were upset about it. Bob and obviously led the lead. I don't know how Austin felt about it, but he also is the fastest man in the sport. So, but Bob vocally said it, and the NHRA seemed to lean into it. Even the social media crew was wearing shirts like Speed Check. I think that they're leaning into it. NHRA shared it. I was afraid NHRA was going to shy away from it. And it seems to be something that they're leaning into, and it may be a little rivalry.
Could be good. I think the IndyCar guys have more money than we do, but we're
A lot more.
and redneck.
Yeah, they'll win that battle.
Can I please play the Spencer versus Cone?
Spencer versus Brown.
Okay, Spencer versus Cone.
Here's Spencer in his first ever full pull.
Damn it, Spencer.
And that would have put him number 4, number 5, somewhere in the field. But let's get firsthand view here, Spencer. What were you
Hold
thinking?
on. I want to. So the first thing I do is I'm talking to Phil, because Phil Schuler's in our lounge, and I'm like, dang, Phil, our pro mod brethren is out there wrecking into stuff, and Phil Schuler defended you, which is a miracle by 8-pound baby Jesus. Phil says you can't see shit out of those things at night, and if you haven't done it a long time, the lights coming in both sides with the header flames makes it nearly impossible to drive. And for Phil to say that must mean at night is pretty tough.
Yeah, it wasn't an ideal situation for the first time to go to the finish line, but I was pretty upset at myself. Jim told me if I got out there and I got lost, just to lift. And honestly, at the 8th mile, I thought I was in pretty good shape. And those things, they blur up so much from 330 to 660 when the clutch locks up. It's really hard to see even in the daytime.
And Gainesville's a dark racetrack. I mean, Gainesville's a dark racetrack.
You're not supposed to race there at night.
And I'll be honest, like I drove the Top Fuel car, the dragster at night a couple times and really had no issues. And I'm going to catch some shit for saying this, but the dragsters are relatively easy to drive.
Yep.
These funny cars they're no joke, man. Like they're an animal. They're a crazy son of a bitch. And
yeah, same thing with me driving the alcohol cars. The alcohol dragster, you're in the middle of the track, you see everything. Funny car, you got to drive it.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one to admit that that's just inexperience. I had never taken the thing to the stripe. You know, Jim, I was where I thought I was going to get fired. Like that was Jim's. He had 3 rules. He said, don't hit a wall, never red light, and don't hit a cone. And the first time I took it to the finish line, I hit a cone. I was fully expecting to go back there and catch a big heap of shit from Jim. And he said, hey, buddy, I fucked you. He goes, I should have not told you to shut off during testing. So the 2 good runs I made to get my license, I shut it off at the 8th mile. Still went 396 at whatever. But never ever took it to the finish line. And, you know, Q1 we smoked the tires, and Q2 happened to be at night. And he said, take it all the way unless you get lost. And I guess that, you know, from the 8th mile to the 1,000, it's only 0.6 of a second. So it's not a lot of time to make a decision. And I knew I was drifting left, and I got out of it hoping it would come back right, and just didn't. So anyways, we got screwed up.
He said if I'd have drove my Pro Mod like I drove that thing, I'd have been.
Yeah,
It flipped around.
I had
It
90
flipped
degrees
around.
feeling. I was like this going through the finish line. I'm like, if I did this in my Pro Mod car at 100 miles an hour slower, I'd be upside down into the wall, dead.
Mhm.
When I drove the alcohol car for the first time, the funny car, it took me 3 runs to turn the steering wheel enough. They're like, you're not driving it enough. And I'm like, I did this. And they're like, no, you got to get to your hands have to pass each other. I was like,
Feel
hell
weird,
no.
right?
It's a weird
It's got to feel fucked up to like go all the way.
Well, you can't drive a Pro Mod like that. You drive it like you're holding 2 eggs. So,
And the dragster's the same way. Like you turn that thing a little bit and it just moves over. Like it's really. I'm not taking credit away from these guys. They're hard to race. They're not hard to drive. They're fast and they're hard to keep up to, but they're not hard to drive. The funny car is a different deal.
That's the first thing Spencer told me when we were walking from the trailer to the starting line at Gainesville when he was making his last qualifying run. It's like, dude, nothing I've ever done in drag racing prepared me to drive one of these. Nothing at all. At all. He's like, the dragster, not even close. Pro Mod, nope. Nothing prepares you to drive one of those cars.
Yeah, I really thought there'd be a hybrid between the dragster and the Pro Mod, and it is nothing like either of them. It's just its own beast. And I'm excited to go make some more runs. And I hated the DNQ my first start. Didn't even get any points.
He dinked to dink. He dinked to coin to dink.
We got 10 points for qualifying or for showing up, and I lost 10 for crossing the center lines. I'm not even on the point sheet.
that's all right. Long season. Okay, let's talk about a little bit of drama.
What do we have? Oh, let's talk about it.
Lord.
Let's talk about it.
So this is a case of people putting the cart ahead of the horse. So I don't know what's going, and I don't claim to know what's going on. I don't know the parties involved, but I know that they announced that they bought all these tracks, and then this is posted that none of these tracks are not bought. So I don't know. I'm curious as much as anybody else. I don't know.
I got a little bit of inside info.
All right, give it to us.
So supposedly, and as we all read, if you read that first article, they used verbiage in principle, yada, yada, but they still used words like acquire and purchase. So there was a bit of a confusion of like, did they just lease something at certain times to be able to host these races, yada, yada, yada. Darlington's a tricky situation because somebody owns the land, somebody owns what's top of it. So there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts for different racetracks and how this goes. But apparently they went to all these racetracks, tried to buy them, had conversations about them, regardless if they had gotten into due diligence of legal matter or not. Nothing had been signed anywhere, and they had made this announcement. And now a couple of them that may have been are probably not going to. And I think this hurt them on a level of that. And there's people within this industry who know our sport, and there's people within this organization, I meant not industry, that don't. They have a lot of money and they want to come in and maybe do better for it, but they don't understand how our industry works. And I think if they would have maybe stayed quiet and gone about it the way that they did, that a couple of those might have gone through. But I think that this just shot everything in the foot. And I talked to some people that are close to it, not necessarily involved, but they want us to hold them accountable and say the things we're saying online and teach the people who are in this organization now who don't know our industry that this is a small world and you can't come in and bulldog these people. You can't bulldog Royce Miller. Like, even if Royce Miller, I don't know what was happening, even if he was thinking about it, he sure ain't now. Ain't no way. No way, because he felt like he
standing on business.
Standing on business. And that's the restaurant we're going to. And one of the conversations we've had with somebody is like, you can't just, they've tried it before. Rich people or businessmen, whatever, try to come into our deal, run it. We may never be mainstream because of it, but we run our own sport, and that's the way it's going to always be. And when you come in and try and do this kind of shit, you're not going to stand on business. So I feel bad for the people in this organization that are a part of our industry that are along for this dog and pony show, but the ones who are want us to keep calling them out, because if they want to be involved in this and want to be successful, they've got to learn who we are.
Yep. I know no parties involved, so I reserve comment. But I will say that normally in our sport, if you take a bean counter and inject them into a passion-based business, it's never going to win.
We're seeing it in the parts manufacturers single day.
Every single day. I told a vendor today, I said, either quit selling parts or make some parts. But like, don't just act like you want to make parts and never make any parts. Yeah. Like, it's
Lyle, like, okay, well, both of you, but Lyle, as a business owner, like, even if you're that Competition Plus article that came out after it, did you guys read it? So their article came out that they were purchasing these tracks. Then Drag Illustrated's rebuttal came out. Well, then tonight, a Competition Plus article came out where what's his name? Clyde something, the CEO, the newly claimed CEO of IHRA, stood on it. He said, nope, this is the way that it was. We are purchasing these. And he made a quote about like a handshake deal should go a long way. But it takes a while to get these things done. And just because you said, hey, do you want to maybe talk about buying this track? You can't go in and announce it. Like, could you ever imagine going into a business deal like that and just jumping the gun so freaking aggressively?
No, I mean, on a handshake deal like this, in my opinion, that's stuff you tell your family, right? But that's not something you go on Facebook and talk about. I mean, Stevie, I'm gonna call you when we get off tonight and tell you, you know what, I'm gonna come drive down to Augusta tomorrow, and I want to buy a KTR, and we'll just shake hands on it and go back home. You know, like, I'm not gonna go on Facebook and be like, hey man, looks like a couple weeks I'm on KTR. Like, nah,
it's pretty rough if it doesn't happen.
Really? Yeah. I mean, and anything can happen, right? Like at any point in time. I mean,
especially when you're talking about deals as large as these, this is not a drop in the bucket type of deal. And I like anybody investing in our sport. I just hope that, as always, it helps and doesn't.
Yeah.
It just seems very like it's almost too much, too fast. Like, okay, if you want to lease rights, or how, I don't even know how this side of the business works, right? To like MIR as an example, where they're going to host the President's Cup for IHRA. Like, they announced that's a done deal, yada yada. But to throw the words acquire and purchase and ownership and things like that, I think they feel like they have all of this making up to do to come in and just own the space, where you can't just be normal and say like, hey, we're going to host a race here. We're going to host a race here. We're going to do this. We got these people and we're going to do. It's been like gung ho from the start. Kenny Noling this, Kenny Noling's out. We're going to do this. 7 trucks this. We're going to top fuel this. Larry Morgan that. And I just don't understand the whole like 0 to 100. Like, what the fuck?
You start looking, for lack of better terms, you start looking stupid real fast.
And you
like,
can't.
God, you need to be taken serious. You know, like, it's the time we need to be taken super serious and like, man, this is going to be great. And instead, it looks like
strike one. Evan,
some high school play being put together.
Strike one. Like, Kenny Noling, right?
Come on.
They took a hit. Then they replaced him. Then they had this guy with money. It's like, okay, well, maybe this is 7 hits. This is not one. This is going to take a long time. Nobody's going to trust anything. Now it's a mockery. Now it's a joke. And I'm not saying the IHRA or what they're planning on doing. They may have all these races, and the people that they do have within our industry there mean business and are smart people and are very capable. But this,
and obviously we hope it's successful, right?
Yeah.
Like,
for sure,
we need it, right? Like there's room for more.
This was bad.
And this was just bad.
Bad.
Golly. That's just black eye, not good.
And then you, if y'all all go read the Competition Plus article, like, he stood on it.
Yeah, you can't. Man.
You can't stand on it, because the track owners already came out and said, not only am I not, I will not now. Like,
yeah, it's just not good.
I hate that, because it wouldn't hurt to have somebody who we could have as a competition out here and go do this. But this is strike 2, but this strike was like 7 strikes in one.
Yeah, not good.
So that sucks.
Not good.
Not good. We will see as the shake and bake wheel turns what happens. I feel like this has been like a whole 60 minutes newscast. There's a lot of racing news is busting loose.
We didn't even really bullshit a lot, so we did good.
This was a good deal.
Well, what do we have next?
I don't know.
Phoenix.
Phoenix,
So
HRA
we
in.
got Radio Outlaws Rockingham next week too.
Oh, you have Rockingham. My bad, dog.
Yeah.
Highfalutin motherfucker. So we won't be on next week. So we will be on the week of. That's PDRA Goliath, yeah. The following week.
Ready? Are you
Is that
kidding?
right?
April 2nd is PDR Goliath.
Oh, okay, so we got a week in between.
Okay.
Yep, next
Well, both
week.
of y'all be at
only
PDRA. Stevie, are you going?
I will be at PDRA, not competing, but running customer cars.
We'll all be there.
HR has expanded as a major partner of PRA, and we're very much looking forward to enhancing the field of competition.
That's awesome.
Well, maybe we'll see. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching episode 54. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. It was fun.
Later.
Oh.
Shake it back!